Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So guys, this is a part 2 of the first video I made, which is how to sew a 3-part corset. If you've not watched the video of how I drafted this corset, please go watch it. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a 3-part corset. So right now I'm just cutting my pattern, and then I'm going to show you the placements. Right here, as you can see, I labeled it. It's very important for you to label your pattern so you don't have mistakes, because whenever you are sewing the bra cup, it's usually very confusing and it's very easy to make a mistake. So here I'm just trying to cut the pattern. So guys, as you can see, I labeled my pattern A, B, C, D. The top 2 parts are C, D, and the lower 2 is A, B. So the C, D, I'm going to be getting a different paper, a small pattern paper, and I'm just going to put a paper gum on it and then glue them side by side, so close to each other. So what I'm trying to do is to make the CD piece a one-piece pattern. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So as I said in the video earlier, it's a 3-part corset, so the CD is one part and the AB are the remaining 2 parts of the corset, so of the bra cup. So right now I'm going to cut the back pattern for the corsets. If you watched the first part of this video, you'd understand why there are 2 necklines on my back corset. Please guys, go and watch it. It will help you a lot, and then you understand what I'm doing here. In this video, I'm also going to be showing you guys how to put an eyelet on your corset if you don't have the eyelet machine, and then how to use the bra iron. So guys, stay tuned and keep watching. So here I'm just placing the pattern side by side and just showing you what they look like side by side before we go ahead and cut on the fabric. So right here I already cut my pattern with my fabric. I already cut my fabric using my pattern, and then as you can see, I gave half inch allowance where it was needed. And yes, so we're getting into the sewing process now. For the bra cup, I cut 2-piece each for each part, 2-piece fabric, 2-piece lining. Yes, so we are going to be using a cloth gum as a facing. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is what a cloth gum looks like. It has a smooth surface and it has a rough surface. The rough surface is where you will place on the wrong side of the fabric and the wrong side of the lining. So here I'm just trying to show you what the texture looks like for those that don't know what a cloth gum look like. Some people like to use paper gum, but I feel like paper gum is a bit tacky. You can also use what we call wadding. I don't know what another name for it. They call it wadding. They have the thick and the light ones, so you can use the light ones also if you don't want to use a bra cup. So here I already used the cloth gum. I pressed it on my fabric and on my lining, and then I joined the part A and B together, and I'm trying to join the C and D part, which is the 3rd part of the bra cup, to it. So yes, this is what I'm trying to do here. So I'm just going to pin it down and sew. So moving on, for my front piece, I already joined the two sides together to the middle part, and now I'm trying to join the bra cup. I also already inserted my boning line where I would insert my boning. I used a black bias tape for that, so you can also make use of bias or use the fabric as a bias for that. So right now I'm trying to insert the cup, the bra cup part to the front piece of the corset. So yeah, so I'm just going to pin it and sew. As you can see, what I'm doing is very explanatory. You can understand what I'm doing there. I already joined the cup part of the corset to the front piece of the corset. So what I'm going to do now is teach you guys how to insert a bra iron to your cup. So this is what the bra iron looks like. It is sold in the market for around 300 to 350, between that. So I'm going to be using my bias tape as a link to insert my bra cup. As you can see, this is how good it looks. Just in case you don't want to use a bra cup, you can also use a bra iron and a bra cup at the same time, but then I didn't want to, so I just wanted to use my bra iron. I felt comfortable with just that alone. So now I'm just going to show you how to insert the bra iron. So I already showed you the bias tape that I'm using. I'm also going to show you my back piece. I use the one boning channel each side on each back piece. So yeah, so basically to put your bra iron, you're just going to sew your bias tape along the cup of your bra cup. You're just going to sew it along and then giving a very small gap, and then you insert your bra iron through that gap. And now I'm just going to be joining both sides, the right side facing each other, the lining piece and the main fabric. So I'm just going to pin it. So you shouldn't worry about the bra iron, because there's usually little gap on both sides, the side close to your armhole and the center front of your front piece. So you shouldn't worry, because there's always that ½ inch that you can use to sew. So I already joined the top part of my corset and I top stitched it already. I'm going to show you guys what I did right there. So I already top stitched it. So yeah, a very thin line, and I pressed it so that it will stay flat. So what we're going to do next is to flip it and then to sew the hem of the corset and sew it really neat. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in a bit. I already inserted my bonings already before I go ahead to do the hem. After joining the top hem of the corset, I inserted my bonings, and then I'm just going to flip it front sides facing each other, just like it was when you were sewing the top hem of it. So I'm just going to do that, and then make sure that the straps of your corset, if you are using a strap, is very optional. You don't necessarily have to. If you're using a strap for your corset, make sure that it is inside and then it doesn't pop out. If not, it's going to affect you when you sew. So that's what I was trying to show you here. So I'm just going to lay my lining piece or my fabric piece and then pin them together and sew along that line, depending on how much allowance. If you watch the part 1 of this tutorial, I used a 1-inch allowance, so I have 1 inch to spare for my allowance. So that's what I'm just going to do, and I'm going to show you guys in a bit. So right here, I already joined the front piece and the lining piece together along the hem. So right now I'm going to flip it through the side piece. The side piece, I mean the part where you insert your eyelet. Yes, so both sides are opened. There is no stitch there. The stitch is only on the top hem and the lower hem and the lower hem. Yes, so that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm just going to pull it out through that part. Any of the sides is okay. There's no necessary way you should do it. Any of the sides will be okay. Just pull out the fabric and then you turn it over. So right here, I'm trying to show you how I already sewed the side hem of the corset, both sides. So what I just did is insert my allowance inside the corset and then just sew on it straight. Inserting my allowance into the corset like in the middle, and then iron it and then sew along. You can sew one line, two line, however you want. So here I'm just trying to show you my eyelets. So this is the part where I teach you how to insert an eyelet or eyelets by yourself without having an eyelet machine. So yes, so what you have to do is mark the points. This is one that I already done. So I already inserted on one side, and I'm going to show you how to insert it on the other side. So these are the tools I'm using. The important thing you need is a hammer, a plier, and a cutter. Please make sure that the cutter that you are using is an old cutter or cutter that you don't use as often, because these eyelets will chip it for you. I'm trying to show you here what this eyelet did to my cutter. So yes, that is what it's going to do. It's going to chip it off, so you should be careful. So yes, I'm just going to show you guys how it is done, so you can use the first one you do as a guide for the second part, so that you can match it. And that is what I did here. So I already used a chalk to mark my points, and then you're also going to need a scissors for this, because it's the scissors you will use to make the hole in the fabric so you can insert the eyelets. In this place, I just folded that particular point, I bent it a bit and then used my scissors. You have to be very careful. You have to be very careful not to cut so much hole. I'm sorry that my hand was out of camera, out of focus here. So I'm going to actually show you what it looks like. So that's the small piece. So you're just going to be cutting it gently, just because the space you have is very, very little, so you have to be careful. This is me inserting my scissors to kind of widen the hole a bit, although that didn't work. So what you will just do is cut a little bit more and then insert your eyelets into it. I'm just trying to show you what part. That part of the eyelet is the one that is facing the right side of your fabric, so you are pushing it against the wrong side of your fabric. So yes, that's what I'm doing. And then the second part, you just lay it at the back of the fabric. You just lay it at the back, and then that's when the cutter comes in. I'm just going to show you, just watch how I do it. So yeah, as I said earlier, I decided to remove the eyelet because it was too tight and then the eyelet was not free in the hole. So I went back to cut the hole a little bit wider, and then I'm inserting it again, the right side true to the wrong side. So take note of that. So this is what it's looking like. This is me bringing you up and close so you can see what I'm doing better. So the hole I cut for the eyelet is a bit small, which is a good thing. It's better small than bigger. So if it's too small, you can just always go back in and then just cut the hole a little bit bigger, but you just have to be careful not to cut it too big. If not, I don't know, it is over. So yes, so I'm just going to insert that. It's a bit hard because the hole is small, so that's me struggling so that I can insert the eyelets. It could have just been easier if I just cut the hole a little bit bigger, but then I'm scared, so I won't spoil the fabric. Yeah. I already laid the second part of the eyelets, and then I'm just going in with my cutter and then just cutting it on different parts of the circle, and that is when the plier will come in. So I'm just trying to cut it a bit. Yeah, there was a part of this segment where my hand went off focus, so I'm really sorry about that. But then I'm going to explain how everything went for you so you can understand what I was actually doing right here. So I brought in my spanner and then I'm just going to bend it sideways, so the position where my hand went, so you are opening it up. Yes, so you're bending them outwardly, not inwardly. So if you have a scissors that you're not using, that could also work too, but I'm using a plier, so I'm bending it outwardly. Yes, so yes, that's what I'm trying to do, as you can see. So guys, right here I'm just going to be using my plier with my hammer and then just hitting it lightly. You shouldn't be so hard on it so that it won't affect the right side of the eyelets. So I'm just hitting it lightly, and then I'll go ahead with my hammer to make sure that there is no metal piece sticking out so as not to get scratches or injure someone. So yes, so guys, that's the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was very helpful, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you have not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell right there, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.